with Phil Weaver in charge of the NCCAA, the Coaches Association, getting the job done for North Carolina Coaches Association. Big thing going on this week. They've changed the dates for the football game from the summer to the winter or fall now. Got a game coming up on Saturday. Well, it's going to be on Sunday now, Saturday. Coach Weaver, I mean, you're a busy man. You've been able to, I guess, run classes at Grims when you taught school. They're period by period, class by class preparation. But how do you prepare for what you've had so far this week?
Prayer.
Exactly.
No, Emily Bird was one of my students, the meteorologist at Channel 8.
Oh,
so
gosh.
I got in touch with her this morning right when I got up. And she says, Coach, you're not going to try to play Sunday, are you? And I said, well, we were, Emily. And she said, well, you're going to have 25 to 35 mile per hour winds, and it's going to be raining hard starting at 2 in the morning. And I said, I think you just answered my question.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time I'd gotten to work, I already knew we were going to play Saturday, that we didn't have any choice. And we have a really nice banquet. You ought to come sometime. Anybody can come. And it's Saturday night. And so rather than play Saturday night in the cold, I figured we keep the banquet and play in the afternoon. And, you know, I've had a couple complaints about people that couldn't get off work or whatever. But for the good of the kids and fans, I think we did the right thing. 1 o'clock's a good start. We got time to clean up and get to the banquet and that sort of thing.
I guess good thing, too, the main thing is get the game in.
Well, yeah, I mean, the kids don't want to come up here and then not play. And that's what might have happened Sunday. And talk about tearing up the field and, well, you know, a slippery field is not as safe as a dry one. That's pretty simple. So.
You think about it, too, as far as it goes. I mean, you look at Sunday, almost impossible to play on that day, like you say, with the rain like it's going to be. And I think what we've got outside today, if you could play on Thursday, which is today, it would be a beautiful day to play. And it sounds like Saturday, weather-wise, Saturday, the plan is good, right?
Emily said it would be great Saturday, so we're hoping she's 100% accurate. She didn't have any doubts that it was going to rain and blow.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's interesting. She's a former student of yours, too.
Yeah,
back in the day.
it was a good one.
Wow. Done a good job at Fox 8 also.
She has.
Talk about the game this week, what the guys have been doing so far this week. Kind of a quick week for them, too. They here, I guess, arrived on Wednesday, and now they're ready for a game on Saturday.
Yeah, we brought the coaches in Tuesday afternoon for an organizational meeting, and then kids came in at 1 on Wednesday, and they, of course, immediately went out to practice. And then last night they had meetings, position meetings, team meetings, all that kind of thing. And then this morning they were up here 9 o'clock for pictures. And that takes a while. Then they went to practice and then give them a snack and then eat another practice and get lunch. And right now they're headed to clean up so they can go to the Coliseum. And Coliseum's very good to us. They feed the kids one meal each All-Star game. And after our kids eat, they're going to go upstairs and we got some colleges coming in and we're going to have a recruiting fair. And so I know we got a few kids that aren't signed yet, so they'll be able to talk to some college coaches and hopefully find somewhere they might like. And then at 7:30, we've invited all coaches in North Carolina that want to come to talk to those colleges. And we've got I think last time Malia said it was close to 30 coaches from Apex and Fayetteville, and I mean they're making some Southeast Raleigh's coming. Those are some trips to try to help their kids. You're
doing some different things, I guess, right now with it being here in the fall/winter as opposed to the summer. There's some different things you're doing and can do.
Yeah, and then tomorrow morning, the kids are going to, the East is going to Southwest Elementary, and the West is going to General Green right over here, and work with the kids on, I think Southwest is going to do physical ed stuff, but, you know, they might read, they might do math with the kids, you might just sit there and counsel with them or whatever. And then they'll practice in the afternoon, and then tomorrow night we've gotten some help from Sports Foundation. We're going to take them to the bowling arcade over there across from Four Seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, they'll get up real early Saturday morning, eat breakfast, go clean up, immediately head out to Outback for pregame meal. We go back to the hotel for half an hour, and then they'll come over here about 11 o'clock and get ready for the game. then we'll go back and clean up again, and be at the banquet at the Four Seasons for that night.
A lot of cleaning up to do.
Yeah, well, football, yeah.
Yes, sir. And you hope the ground stays dry until the game time, so you have to get too much mud. You're doing all that practice, all that work. As far as it goes, you look at all those things going on. It's going to be a busy day on them for Saturday, because I guess you have to eat kind of an early lunch at Outback, too, because you can't wait too long to eat your lunch because of a 1 o'clock game.
Yeah, they're eating it like, here's the rework schedule, actually. Yeah, they're going to leave at 9:40 for lunch.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's going to be like breakfast for some of those guys usually on their Saturday routines, probably.
Well, what we found is they can eat breakfast and eat lunch about 30 minutes later if they want to.
Some of those young guys can, right?
Yeah.
I think it should be pretty good. It sounds like I know the General Green situation a little bit, live right across the street from there.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the principal there, Mrs. Harris, whose daughter Jasmine plays for Northern Guilford.
Right.
I'm sure she'll do a great job with those guys when they come over, because I'm sure she'd be glad to have them too, because General Green, to me, is a top flight school as far as what they're doing with those young kids over there.
Well, good. And the Southwest principal's son is a quarterback at Southwest Guilford.
Oh.
So she's a football fan. That's good.
What if that's Lloyd? I don't know if it's Kel Lloyd's mom or not. Because Kel Lloyd, I think he's a quarterback, or was a quarterback at Southwest. You had Corbin Wilson, Southwest Guilford, too, one of their players who was injured in the game Tuesday night playing basketball. He had to drop out of the football game because of that basketball injury, I guess.
Yeah, we lost 3 kids to basketball injuries. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. You think because they're playing basketball now, they just got through playing football, already playing basketball, I want to play football again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there to witness that on Tuesday night, saw that, and I talked to the coach after the game, Coach Greg Vlasny. He was saying, Corbin wouldn't be with him on Friday night for the game against Western Guilford because he was ready for the All-Stars, and he had all the support in the world for the All-Stars, but then that injury is tough enough where he can't play in the game, so you have to make changes. Do you foresee having to make any other changes, any other drops possibly?
I certainly hope not. We had too many as it is.
Had a lot more in the East than the West, looked like.
Oh, the East was inundated, yes. They've had a tough time. The West only had 3 total from the time they announced the original roster. That's very unusual.
Yeah, it's not bad.
And 2 of them were injured in the state championship games.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And you're able to pick up a local kid, too, from Dudley, Sophie Amaru, to play defensive back. Good to see Sophie and get a chance to play that game, too, pick up a Dudley guy. So you've got some local guys on there, too. Got a couple of guys from Grims. One of those guys is Graham Buck from the big offensive lineman. I think they have a defensive lineman on there, too, another defensive player. But you've got some kids from Grimsley. The kid, Tate Robertson. I've always been a big proponent of Tate Robertson from Page because his dad, Doug Robertson, is actually coaching this game. And here's Tate going to be playing in the game, too. Hopefully he gets to start maybe at center on that Saturday afternoon. You got Tate, and you got Southwest, couple of kids in there because you got the replacement. Darius Hairston came in for Corbin Wilson, so you still got another Southwest guy coming in. Good combination there. Then you got Northeast Guilford player was on the roster, Ragsdale player on the roster. A lot of good local participation.
We do. We're lucky about that. Maybe that'll help.
If anybody drops, I got some recommendations too if you need them. If anybody else has to drop out.
If they drop now,
you could get a local kid, I guarantee, across the street or maybe up the street.
Now.
Yeah, just go with the roster you got.
They've got to go with what we got.
Because it's too late to join practice right now.
Well, that'd be too much to learn.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Too much to get done.
I guess if you were a kicker, we could do that, but that's about it.
The only way you could probably do it, too, if you, this is all hypothetical situations, if you had a coach who coached, say, here locally, had a local kid, just pull him into his system already, you might be able to pull that off.
Yeah, we got Bishop McGinnis coach, but we've got a rule against it, and I don't think we would break it. We haven't in 76 years. So.
Yeah, if you got rules, you got to stick to those, that's for sure.
Right.
Other things you see different about this game. Now, I looked at the game coming in. This is one of the thought I had earlier this week. I felt like the game now in the fall/winter's time, it's almost like the game is more about the game. It seemed like in the summer, it was kind of more of an event. It was locked in that certain time frame every summer. It was part of the basketball, part of the soccer. It's more like an event than was an actual game. Now this seems more like a real game to me in some ways, being in the fall, just because they just finished their high school season. There are some guys, this might be their last game as a high school player because they're going into college pretty soon, some going in January. Seems like a pretty big game possibility for you here.
Well, it'll definitely be their last high school game. We got a lot more kids that have signed than we would have in the summer. I think Reed Holmes was saying when they walked in yesterday that they look a lot better on the hoof than they did the last few summers. They're just bigger. They're taller. They're stronger looking. I think the game will be more competitive in that respect. We just lost so many kids to colleges. that they couldn't come in the summer. They're in better shape because they just
finished. Yeah.
Some of them just finished last week, and now some of them have been out 5 weeks or so, and they could have lost something. But the coaches seem very happy with the kids they got.
Kids got to be excited about it too. Like I say, their last high school game. This is when you want to put on a good show, put on a good finish. Some kids they're going to college to play again. Some kids may not play football ever again on this competitive level.
Yeah, and it's kind of nice to play in the biggest high school stadium in the state, and having been in Jamieson for 75 out of the 76 years, it's I think surely kids look forward to being on that stage. I mean, we in the Shrine got together on selection, so we know we've got the best 24, how many kids it works out to be, players in the state, we hope, except for the injured ones, of course.
And we got to reiterate once again, the game is on Saturday at 1 p.m. We ought to throw that in a couple more times before we finish this interview, because that's the big thing there. Put that stamp on that date and time, Saturday afternoon, 1 p.m. kickoff, enough time to get the guys done so they can get cleaned up and go to the banquet that night. And it's just been a big week for these guys coming in. They get to get out of school. I think that's always been the guys who used to do the East-West All-Star game years ago in December. I always remember these. I thought those guys were kind of lucky because they would go down early to wherever they were practicing in South Carolina, where it was being held at, and you get that whole week of school off too. That's pretty good because next week you're getting close to finish up for Christmas. These guys get a little extra added vacation.
Hey, it's interesting. We give an award to every All-Star who has a 3.0 or better cumulative. So of course we had to do it after junior year because they haven't finished first semester. We've got 4 kids in the football game with perfect 4.0s.
Man, I'd be wanting that guy to probably be a quarterback or some guy in charge of the defense, maybe a defensive captain. Those guys would be good leaders. They know the stuff.
But we have a lot more of the academic football players this winter than we've had in the summers. It might be a complete fluke, but we sure got them.
Gotta like it. Will Jeffrey Griffin will he be working for you again this year, Jeffrey Griffin?
He's supposed to. He's the one person just about that I haven't heard back from.
Huh, interesting. It's getting kind of close to game time too.
I keep hoping I'll hear from him any minute. But
because he usually, part of the procedure is you usually recognize those academic all-stars. I think
we'll do that.
Part of the game you do that, you always.
And if Jeffrey can't come, I'm sure either the Grimsley or Southwest announcers, they're both available. I hope.
Mr. Courts, I guess, is your Grimsley gentleman. Yeah.
Michael would step in if he can. I know.
And we have cheerleaders for the game?
Ragsdale is supposed to come, but now that they changed the date, of course, she's got to check with all her kids, and she hadn't gotten back to me yet. We did add bands this year, Northeast and Eastern, and they're in the same boat. They've got to make sure the kids can get here now because they'd all planned on Sunday.
Well, you got a big thing going on today, just Thursday, letting everybody know it's going to be Saturday, 1 p.m. kickoff, Jamieson Stadium, East-West All-Stars football game this Saturday, 1 p.m. So that's the thing you got to kind of get in people's brains now.
Well, thanks to you guys, the press, for getting it out, and Earl Vaughn, our social media guy, for getting it out. I think by 11 o'clock we had at least contacted or tried to everybody we had to. And we got answers back from most of them. We got the same 7 officials. All of them made their
commitment.
Their changing plans work. You really appreciate that. So I think we've got 1 clock operator we had to replace and 1 ticket taker. That's not bad.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. It's kind of interesting, too, that you're playing the game now here in the fall/winter, because it's almost winter. Winter's here pretty soon. But school's in session, too, at Grimsley. It's kind of different to come up here. Usually in the summer, you come by the coach's office. It's just like you guys are the main attraction during the summer. East-West, and everybody else has gone home, and they're through for the summer. But now you got the students around. So practice times, you're practicing on the Grimsley practice field for the Grimsley group? Yeah.
And Southwest has actually put us on the game field because their practice area gets kind of wet at times.
Well, it's just down in the bottom at Southwest. It can get kind of wet over there. But that game field at Southwest is usually in pretty good shape.
Yeah, Brendan does a good job.
Yeah, Mr. Crispin does a good job. And Reed Holmes, the Southwest Guilford Cowboy, former Western Guilford Hornets, a big associate of yours here, too, helping out with these games.
Right. He and Clayton Nance and, of course, Malia in the office indispensable.
Do you have a lot of your other staff members that work with you during the summer games? They also working on this too? Is it kind of a specialized group of people helping?
The four I mentioned, of course, Mac's here full time, so we've got used to his brain. And Joe, same thing, Joe Franks. And Tim Vile come down tomorrow, and he's in charge of the banquet and tickets, so he'll take care of all that stuff. But that's really our crew.
I tell you what, Coach Matt Morris and also Joe Franks, those guys, if you didn't have them, it'd almost be like you didn't have the Encyclopedia Britannica. You got to have those guys, right?
Joe calls Macapedia.
Wikipedia, Macapedia.
Yeah.
Macapedia fits well. I get that now, too, especially the history of everything. He would have it all down there as far as that goes. So you're excited about the games. You got to keep the excitement level up. You got a lot of responsibility. You've changed things. How does it feel kind of to be a game changer? Because that was a big move when you made the move to change the games to the fall/winter from the summer. And then you got to change the date. All that, so much change going on. I mean, you change your clothes every day. Everybody does that. Now you got to change all these dates and times and everything.
Well, football coaches have been on us for years to change it. And I know Coach Jamieson and we all felt that the three games, the three sports, along with the clinic, was a great fit. But football just got to be where we were replacing so many kids, and we had so many kids going to college that it seemed like for the good of the game, we needed to move it. So we went to the board 2 years ago and asked them to move it, not last year, but this year. And you got to hand it to Darren Corbett, who's on the board, and Maloney and those other basketball guys, because I know they hate it. I used to hate the Shrine game for taking my best player sometimes. And Rod Elkins got taken the Shrine game. We lost 2 games all year. One was while he was gone, of course. So basketball guys don't like it. And, I told them I didn't like asking for it, but that we would bring the kids in on Wednesday so they could play Tuesday. And I think they appreciated it. But the board unanimously voted to move it. And I think that's a real tribute to basketball, wrestling, the two sports swimming that would be impacted by this. And then, of course, the weather we've been talking about now ever since the 7-day forecast came out. And it just kept getting worse and worse. And so something had to be done today to give us time to pull it off. You don't want to change the day before. It's just, the parents from Brevard and Carteret County, they need to make a change in plans if they can.
And Wilmington, too, some people down that way.
Yeah. Well, or the mountains.
Yeah, Asheville, Brevard,
Swain County.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's not just something you jump in the car and go to.
No, it's not. You got to have a little bit of prior notice to get it all done.
Right.
And you didn't want to have the game like you had that one summer. I mean, it was 1 out of a million that one time. You had to keep delaying the game until about midnight when the game finally got done. That was crazy.
That was borderline whether we should have played the next morning or not. But one day we did, years ago.
I remember that one year when you had it Thursday. It rained so much you had to move it to Friday.
Coach Jamieson, I can remember him asking me what I thought. And I go, dang, usually he doesn't ask my opinion. He just tells me what we're doing. And we moved it and probably shouldn't have. So I was holding out till the last minute.
Kind of felt like you had to probably that one year.
Well, we did.
That was Hurricane Bob's year. That was
from
what
we were told, yeah. But it turned out it really wasn't that bad that night.
Right. So. Well, that's right now. It's all on Emily Bird.
Yeah, it's all on her.
Yeah, it's on Emily.
But I saw Buckley's tweet about it, and he's saying now 30 to 40 mile per hour winds. So 1 to 3 inches. That's you'd have to be idiot not to move it.
Only guys that like that be the guy that won the coin toss and the kicker. The kicker might like that if he gets one chance.
Yeah, that's right.
Back, might have a 60-yard or 70-yard field goal that day. You've got some talent coming in there. Like we said, some local guys and guys across the state. How do you feel about, you talked a little bit earlier, you feel good about your talent to shelf this year?
Very good. We've got kids going to Power 5 schools. We hadn't had that in several years. So obviously the talent's a little better.
And you get ready for a Saturday afternoon, 1 p.m. kickoff, Jamieson Stadium. Won't have to have the lights on, be during the daytime, afternoon game?
Al Barnett, the school board operator, is upset because he can't play with his lights.
Oh, yeah, I know.
But
I'll leave those to him myself. That's just me.
I don't care for him.
Yeah.
But he does a good job with it. And,
Mr. Barnett. Yeah, I got to put that name in the head there. Mr. Barnett, Alonzo Barnett's dad. So Mr. Barnett helping out, doing a good job always.
He played pro football. He's going to be our speaker at the banquet.
Oh, that's good stuff, Al Barnett, yes.
GoFan has already reset the ticket thing, so anybody can get them. And if they don't have them, they can come to the gate, and they've got the QR code that people can take it off their phone, and that's no big deal. Still have the parking on campus also across the street around the area, and have the guys kind of run the parking for you you've had in the past? No, because they're all Shriners, and they're down at the Shrine game.
You answered that question real well.
Yeah, you got to park on your own now.
So bring your own car, park on your own.
Yeah.
That's it, unless you want to walk in like I do from across the street to church. Usually park in the church in that back lot, toward the very back of the lot, so don't take up any spaces. Anybody lives in the apartments, but that's been a good parking space over the years, too.
Makes it easy.
Yeah, just cruise across the street. And the Shriners will be busy, I guess. They've got their thing going on, too, I guess.
Yes. They're playing Saturday afternoon.
Are they playing in North Carolina or South Carolina these days?
They've been in South Carolina for a long time.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Spartanburg, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah. There was one time I think he might have been in Rock Hill a little while. He used to play at the old Charlotte Memorial Stadium years ago.
Came to Charlotte, and then that didn't do well at all. So, oops, sorry about that.
That means we got to be close on time, I guess. Our interview's going to be coming to close soon, I guess. We'll keep it going just a little bit longer. Mr. Holmes?
Yeah, I can call him back.
And again, Saturday afternoon, 1 p.m., Jamieson Stadium, like you said. We talked about the Shriners have had some jumps around over the years, but you have been in this same place for like 75 or 76 years.
Yeah, we renovation year caught us, and we had to go over to Simeon. But they were great to us over there. But we did get to come back.
So. That was the year of the parking lot renovation.
Yeah.
Yep, remember that pretty well. I went to Simeon that year and checked it out and had some good kids that year. I got some good interviews after the game that year. Those kids had that big kid out of Southern Gopher, went to Gopher College and played, and just a lot of good kids over there. It was a hot summer night. That's something about, too, those summer nights sometimes when those storms blew through. That was some very humid summers we had back in the day.
Yeah, well, you got a better memory than I.
Oh, yeah, I remember a lot of those things. And I remember, too, we always had fireworks, but in the afternoon, I don't think you do fireworks.
No, that's an expense we no longer have.
That's probably a good thing, too, in some ways.
Minimum shows like $6,000. It's ridiculous.
I mean, times have changed and prices have all gone up.
Yeah.
Make the adjustments, work the budget, keep it moving.
We don't budget. We can't.
Yeah.
I mean, we spend close to $100,000 more than we bring in on the football game.
We're still going to be counting on the coaches' clinic to carry a lot of it.
Absolutely. The clinic carries all the all-star games. Beyond question.
Will you still have football coaches at the clinic this coming summer?
Yeah. See, we can get Division I coaches now.
Right.
They couldn't come because of our All-Star game, which is a stupid NCAA rule.
One of those rules, it felt like it might be a consideration. It might be able to try to get players or crazy things.
Yes, and our kids never go to the Coliseum. That should never been in doubt.
Right.
So Mac and Joe can now get any college coach they want.
So we could see Mac Brown here next year, could see Dave Doran, could see Dave Clausen, could see
Manny Diaz.
Manny Diaz, new coach, could see any of those guys. Always a possibility.
Yeah.
Always a possibility.
I'm sure they'll go for the big four guys first. No question.
See, they did pretty well last year.
But you'll also see them because even if they're not speaking, they're going to be there.
Right.
To socialize with high school coach. They're nuts if they don't.
They got to get those elbows rubbed there.
Absolutely. I remember Cutcliffe's first year. He brought his whole staff.
Who was that?
Cutcliffe's first year.
Yeah, smart move.
And then after that, they'd have 3 or 4 come. But, oh, yeah, you used to see them all.
You had 2 good ones last year. A couple of those guys I'd heard of in the past. A couple of those fellows for pretty good historian basketball coaches.
Yeah, now ESPN's telling us that they're going to air that Krzyzewski and Roy Williams interview probably the day of I started to say Paige Grimm's of a Duke Carolina basketball game. So it'll probably be in February at the earliest.
So it hasn't come on at all yet then?
No.
Wow, that's interesting.
We'll get it out there for folks when it is.
Once it hits, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of talk about it for sure.
It was great. I mean, of course, I have a vested interest, but
sure.
I can't imagine anybody being interested in basketball and not just being enthralled by the 2 of them. They were great.
We'll just do something like that sometime, air like on a Christmas day. That's the kind of thing you just sit back and take it all in. You got a little time after or whatever. But it used to be, you remember the NBA game on Christmas when they had one back in the day. It was actually a treat. There's so many now. They've got 20 games on Christmas Day. It's not even worth the time to watch it. Tell you what, Saturday, 1 p.m., Jamieson Stadium, East-West All-Stars football. The North Carolina Coaches Association putting this on. Coach Weaver, you've worked very hard to make this happen. How many more years can we count on you?
You sound like my wife.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. Reed's got a timetable. Reed Holmes for when he'll be ready to jump in, and we'll probably do it together one year, I guess. And then after that, he ought to be ready to go. I just enjoy it. And
sure.
I think I'm still sharp enough to do it decently.
Yeah, to be in your 50s like you are, you're still doing a good job.
50s, yeah, I wish. You only missed it by 2.5 decades.
Not bad, not bad. Do you think you and Coach Morris will step out at the same time?
We've talked about it, but we've never made a commitment to do that.
You've been together so long.
We did promise each other if we felt like the other one was slipping that we'd tell him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I'm not telling him, and he ain't going to tell me.
Right.
So, no, I mean, I think as long as we feel like we're doing good for the coaches and kids in North Carolina, we're ready to go. And I talk about Reed, but really it'll be up to the board of directors. They could hire somebody else.
Right.
I think that'd be foolish, but we'll just have to see about that.
Yep. Sometimes you got to draw the line. Sometimes you just step back and keep moving behind the line, keep things going between the lines.
Well, people can ask you the same thing. You've been doing this a little while.
Well, yeah, I feel like I've got to keep going at least a few more years anyway. Trying to reach what do they say, 310 years? I think that's in the biblical version. You go 3 in these 10 years. Yeah, to be 70 years. People do stuff like that. We see how things go.
But if you're having fun and nobody's telling you you're screwing things up, why not?
Yeah, if you're seeing kids do it, it's always good to see a kid do well and see that kid advance, progress, and like DJ Reader, Grimsley example, go all the way to the pros and do well there, and then come back, get back to the community. A lot of guys have done that other than DJ, but he seems like a current good example for that. But that's what you like to see. That's what you like to see.
Yeah.
Saturday, 1 p.m., Jamieson Stadium. Kickoff, East-West All-Stars football. Phil Weaver, our man, with us again as always. Appreciate you taking the time. I can still see Stacy, your daughter, at the basketball court, and that little kid from the neighborhood. I always thought he was your son or was her little brother. That kid with a real fresh face, young-looking kid, always with her. And you were out sometimes maybe jogging through the neighborhood or maybe walking a dog. Times have changed, but we continue on.
Well, and we appreciate all you do for us.
Good stuff, Coach. Thank you as always.
Thank you, Andy.